Yo, what's up, everyone? This video we're looking at the Thursday night showdown slate between the Eagles and the Packers. We got a good one this Thursday. We also have 300K up for grabs in this contest on Draftkings. So let's get into it. You can drop a like and subscribe down below before we get started. Also, with NBA season basically here, I'm giving away a couple free passes on Twitter. So all you have to do is retweet this tweet if you want a chance to win. Winners will be announced after this Eagles game on Thursday on Twitter. So that's where it's at if you want to get in for NBA or a chance to win free packages. So let's get into it. Talk about each player that I like, and then we'll look at some builds at the end. Devontae Adams at 11,000. He's your most expensive guy. I think he's going to break out here. The Eagles secondary is dealing with some injuries. Ronald Darby, one of their better corners, is expected to miss, so the Packers should be able to throw the ball wherever they want. Rodgers can be able to slice this defense apart. I think he's going to have a big game after not having really any solid games. Even though they won all 3 games, Rodgers' fantasy line hasn't been good at all. I think this is the week where he kind of goes off. So I think it's going to be him and Adams really taking over. Rodgers at 10-8. Like him a lot. He hasn't thrown for over 235 yards yet. Only has 4 total touchdowns. But Rodgers, they haven't really needed him to throw the ball a lot. But this week, it's really different. So at 10-8, go with him. Then you have Carson Wentz here at 10,000. Wentz gets one of his weapons back in Alshon Jeffrey. Still a pretty tough matchup in going into Green Bay, but I think how much the Eagles throw the ball, how much Doug Peterson likes to throw the ball, I think Wentz is a really good play. I think both quarterbacks are going to have solid games, especially that Wentz has one of his better weapons back in Jeffrey. Ertz is fine at 92. Just feel it's a little tough to get to him with some of the others, just with where he's priced. Just haven't been able to fit him in. But obviously, I think he's still a fine play if you get him in there. But as of now, I don't think I'll have him in my lineup. Aaron Jones, I'm not super interested in him at 9,000. He saved his day with 2 touchdowns, but the Eagles' front seven is very stout. I'd rather go down to $5,000 Jamal Williams, who's their pass-catching back, and he's still going to get 10-plus carries. So I like Jamal Williams at 5,000, even with Jones dealing with some injuries. He didn't get as much snaps last week. If you look here, Williams kind of took some of his work away. He was dealing with a shoulder injury, and he was just very ineffective. He played 61% of the snaps last week, and week 2 he played over 40. So I like Williams a lot instead of paying up for Jones. I love Jeffrey to pair with Wentz. Aguilar at 78. Deshaun Jackson's still going to miss, so he's still going to be their second wide receiver option. Playing out of the slot. He's always going to get his targets. Just a matter of if he can catch it or not. And Scantling has turned into their second wide receiver in Green Bay. Coming into the season, I thought it might be Geronimo Allison, but he's outplayed Allison every week. 88% of the snaps last week. Allison just played 46. I think both of those guys are in play as well with how much I expect the receiving game to go off here. And I expect both quarterbacks to go off, so that's going to be a big bump to the receivers. So I feel like this game has a chance to be a shootout. I'm really looking at all the guys with big play upside. Sanders at 62. He struggled with fumbles. He had 2 fumbles. Both came on the same drive. He got the first one back, and then the second one, a few plays later, just coughed it up again. We'll see how much they game plan for him or how much they focus on him in the offense this week. I won't be so shocked if he doesn't get as big of a role because he was playing a lot last week. And most of his points came from a 73-yard performance in the receiving game. I'm going to pass on him because I think it's going to be popular, and the Eagles have just a bunch of running backs. You don't really know who's going to get the work. And also near the goal line, it was Jordan Howard that got the touchdown, so it's not like Sanders is their goal line back. It's going to be Jordan Howard, especially with the fumbles. That's not going to make it any easier for him in the goal line, near the goal line to get work. I already talked about Williams. I love him at 5,000. No interest in the Packers defense. Jordan Howard, I can only play him if I know he's going to get the work, which I don't. And for him to really crush, you're going to need like 2 touchdowns out of him, which is, I think the passing game is going to be much more effective this week, even though he can run on Green Bay. But the Eagles just don't run the ball no matter who the opponent is. They always throw the ball a lot. Allison's fine at 42. He's not going to be popular. He plays just enough to make a big play and pay off a 4,200 price tag. And then both kickers are fine. I like Elliott a little more than Crosby, but both are fine. And then don't see myself going too cheap here. Sproles, I thought I was going to have a better role coming into the year, but he's been they barely play him. They've been playing Sanders a lot. He's just not getting enough work to be a viable option. Hollins is with Jeffrey back. He's back to being a third. Well, he was a fourth wide receiver if Jackson's healthy, but he's going to get some snaps at least. He's going to get a good amount of snaps. At 2,400, he can get a couple catches, but I'm not expecting him to have a big game at all at 24. And I like Goddard a little bit at just 1,000. He dropped a touchdown. Only played 9 snaps, and he had a touchdown that he just dropped in the end zone. I think he's fine at just $1,000 as a value play. The Eagles still dealing with some injuries at receiver with Jackson. They're probably going to go with more 2 tight end sets, and only played 9 snaps, but that's not normal for a Goddard. They usually play him a lot more, and they play a lot of 2 tight end sets. So I think Goddard's in for a good play. Good week, and he's only $1,000. So that's what I like. Look at some builds here. First one, we'll go with Wentz at captain just because he's significantly cheaper than Rodgers or Adams. I like Rodgers, both quarterbacks here. It's going to be tough to get Rodgers, Adams, and Wentz in the same lineup. I think you can get 2 out of those 3. Or you can still get 3, but you're going to have to go really cheap at captain. But if I go with those 2, I can still get pair each quarterback with a reliable receiver with Scantling, pair Wentz with Jeffrey, get my guy in Jamal Williams, and then 3,400 play Jake Elliott. I like this quite a bit. You get both quarterbacks. You get a couple top receivers. You get a running back, and then you get a kicker. So this one looks pretty safe with some upside. It's pretty balanced. This time we'll do we'll have Devontae Adams at captain at 16.5. It's going to be tough to get the quarterbacks in there with him, so I'll just try to get the pass catching option and see how much money's on the table. So if we go with Adams, Jeffrey, see if we can get Wentz in there. Can get Scantling down to 38. Then we could probably go Allison and then Elliott. So you don't have Aaron Rodgers here paired with his receivers, which I don't love, but it's kind of tough on this slate to really do that, unless instead of playing Scantling, you can go up to Aaron Rodgers here. And then at 3,100, we'll try to get like Dallas Goedert in there at just $1,000. And then actually this looks pretty good. You get Goddard, Jeffrey, Wentz, and then you pair Adams with Rodgers. So it's only 2 Packers in this lineup, but you get the 2 guys that have the biggest upside. So I like that. Or if you want another Packer, you could go, instead of Jeffrey, you could play Scantling. And then you can just eat $700 on the table. Because I don't see you can't really do anything else unless you want to play. So you want to play Jamal Williams, then you can go cheaper at captain here with like Wentz. See if you can do that with Wentz. Nope, you're a little bit off, so you can't really play Jamal Williams in here. But yeah, I'll go back to Adams at captain. And Wentz, not Ertz, Wentz. And then 41, just play kicker and eat 700. I don't think there's a $1,700 guy. No, there's nobody else that I feel safe about. So that's another one. And then we'll do one with Rodgers at captain. So Rodgers, still try to get Adams in there. I like Jeffrey. Go super cheap down here. See if Hollins can get some. He's still going to get like most of the snaps at the second receiver position. And we have 6,100 left. Play Scantling. I'll probably go up from Scantling and play like Wentz down to 2,200 left. At least I want to try to get like Allison in there. Even though I said I don't like Sanders a lot, you could play Sanders if you want instead of Jeffrey. But it's not a ton that I like. I think it's pretty concentrated on who I'm focusing on this week. I like Jeffrey a lot. I like Wentz. I like the quarterbacks. I like the receivers. Play Aguilar here. This one looks fine. This one looks pretty good. Even though you don't get Wentz, you still get his You get two of his top receivers in Jeffrey and Aguilar. You get a third in Hollins. You get Allison, and you get Adams and Rogers. So this one looks good. Or if you want to get Wentz in there, you can go down from Adams, play Wentz, and then you have 1,200 left. You could play kicker here, or you could just play kicker instead of Hollins if you want, and Crosby. But yeah, lots of ways to go, but hopefully this helped you narrow down who you like for this week. Thanks for watching. You can check out the website, dfsprocess.net, and you can check out the Twitter if you want a chance to win a free package. Thanks for watching, and good luck on Thursday.